The December 10th, 2024 regular board meeting of the Forsyth County Board of Education to order. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda before you? Motion by Lindsay, second by Mike. All in favor? Unanimous. Do I have a motion to go into executive session for personnel?
So moved.
Motion by Tom, second by Mike. All in favor? Unanimous. We're good. Do I have a motion to come out of executive session?
So moved. Second.
Motion by Wes, second by Tom. All in favor? Unanimous. Do I have a motion to approve personnel A, 1 through 4, B, 1 through 13, and C, 1 through 23?
So moved.
Motion by Tom, second by Lindsay. All in favor? Unanimous. I'd like to welcome everybody to the December 10th meeting of the Forsyth County Board of Education. We're so glad you're here. If we could all rise, we'll have the pledge. We don't have any Boy Scouts, do we? No. Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, first on our agenda, we have recognitions with Miss Amy Bartlett.
Dr. Amy Bartlett.
Sorry. And are we going to do we need to go down there? No, we're going to do this.
We're going to reverse it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, well, good evening. We're going to start off with an amazing presentation this evening from one of our elementary schools, and I think they have a big crowd here to support them. So I'm going to turn things over to the proud principal of Brandywine Elementary School, Mrs. Daisy Tremps.
Thank you, Amy.
Good evening. I am Daisy Tremps, the very proud principal of Brandywine Elementary School, and I'm so excited to be here tonight for our spotlight. Uh-oh. Oh, sorry guys. All right, so to give you a little context of what we're going to present tonight, I want to tell you just a little about Brandywine Elementary School. We were founded in 2016. Currently, we have approximately 960 students. About 15% of those students are students with exceptionalities. And within that, we have 8 specialized instruction classes. We have 2 special needs pre-Ks. We have 3 skills-based autism classes, 2 accommodated curriculum autism classes, and 1 REACH class. So I would like to introduce one of the heroes of this evening, Mr. Brandon McLean, who is one of our teachers and the coordinator of Brandywine Buddies.
Good evening. Like you said, my name is Brandon McLean. I've been teaching at Brandywine for about 5 years now, and teaching in special education for 10. My classroom this year is a skills-based autism or SBA classroom that consists of 6th, 3rd through 5th graders, most of which having a primary eligibility of autism. We work on academics, daily living skills, social skills, functional skills, and more each day. And there's nothing quite like seeing one of your students improve in one of these areas, no matter how big or small it may seem to some. Every day is different and every student is different, and that's why I love what I do. In addition to teaching SBA, I'm also blessed to be the coordinator of our Buddy program this year. The Brandywine Buddy program was started during the 22-23 school year by a coworker and friend of mine, Amy Carney, who is now teaching at Liberty Middle School. I loved watching how much the students, both our typical peers and our special education students, enjoyed seeing their buddies every week. When Miss Carney asked me to take over the program at the end of last school year, I was honored and happily volunteered. I would also like to take this time to thank Miss Green, Miss Richard, Miss McDevitt, Miss Brown, Miss Esco, and Miss Lennon for helping me to get this whole thing started this year. For those of you that haven't heard of a buddy program, it's essentially serving 2 purposes. One, it allows our students with special needs to be included and socialize with their general education peers. And 2, to allow our general education peers to develop empathy, understanding, and acceptance of differences. So how does that work? Well, basically the first thing I did was pass out flyers for all the 5th grade teachers for any interested students in their classes. These flyers explained what the buddy program was, asked for a very brief statement from the student on why they thought they would make a good buddy, and required both parent and teacher signatures for approval. We actually had nearly 50 fifth graders apply. Next, I then interviewed everyone in groups of about 5 to meet each student and ask them follow-up questions, as well as answer any questions that they had. It was so fun and encouraging to see the enthusiasm these students all had, and I loved hearing what they had to say. After it was all said and done, we had just over 40 students ready to join the program, and it was time for their training and buddy contracts. Our training, which also involved Ms. Tremps, consisted of informational slides and videos explaining autism, plus emphasized the responsibilities they will now hold as a buddy and example to others. The information was presented in a way that was fun and interactive, but also showed the seriousness and maturity required to be in our buddy program. At the end of the training, we had each student sign a contract stating that they will honor the buddy program rules and that they understand the consequences of breaking any of these rules. First, I paired each typical peer with one of our special education students. I then had each special education teacher fill out an About Me sheet with their student to give to their buddy before they met them. I also passed out social stories to each of the special education classrooms with pictures of their new buddies for them to read together before they officially met them. Our typical peers visit their buddies in the specialized instruction classrooms once a week. They understand that they'll be missing one of the 2 ungraded specials each week. The final schedule, which is based on our specials rotation, is then shared with all the teachers monthly. The buddies are responsible for checking their schedule that is posted outside each 5th grade classroom. Even still, I think one of my favorite things is when the 5th graders run up to me in the hall and ask when they can come see their buddies next. The genuine look of excitement on their face just makes my day, and I'm still blown away by the sweetness and maturity of each of these 5th graders. And now I'd like to introduce a few of our Brandywine Badgers that are here tonight. Tell everybody your name.
My brother's name is Maddie. What's your name? Lillian.
Can
you speak up?
Jimenez.
This is Amelia.
Closer. Emily Jimenez.
Amelia. And who's your teacher?
Miss Sutton.
Something's here.
She's here tonight. And who's your buddy?
May.
And what do you like to do with Maddie?
I like to play with her.
What's your favorite thing about Maddie?
It's beautiful.
Beautiful. I love that. Thank you so much. And we also have Maddie here.
Hi, my name is Madeline Benton. I'm in 5th grade DLI at Brandywine Elementary. What I love about the buddy program is that I have built a relationship with my friend Amelia. We love to do different activities together in the classroom. For example, we play with task boxes, puzzles, and board games. We also work on her academics. I love when we see each other in the halls and she runs up and gives me a big hug. It makes me feel all warm and fuzzy inside. The buddy program has been a positive impact on my 5th grade year. I am so appreciative for it.
Hi, my name is Orisa. I am 11 years old. My teacher, Mr. Ben, Miss B. I love my buddy's name is Aldo. He's so nice to me, helps me with my work, and we play outside together. Thank you for being my friend, Aldo. You're the best.
Hi, my name is Aldo Godinez. Some reasons that I like the buddy program is that it lets me connect with the buddies like Olisa and Krishna. I like hearing what they like doing and how they feel. Some of my favorite memories so far is when we were all lying on a giant beanbag, and when we go outside to play is one of my favorite things to do because I get to play with all the buddies and it's really fun. The buddy program makes me feel good and happy, and it makes my buddy feel good too.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for listening to us and for our amazing buddy program. Have a good night.
when we come down front, we want to make sure we get a chance to take some pictures with these guys.
Absolutely.
Dugan, you got a camera ready?
Great. Well, what a heartwarming testament to the climate and culture that exists at Brandywine Elementary. So thank you all for being here. And as we transition to the Employee of the Month spotlight, it will probably be no surprise that this month's Employee of the Month also comes from Brandywine Elementary. And I'd like to introduce you to one of their custodians, Joyce Elenise, here with us. And we want to celebrate Joyce for being for being recognized as our Employee of the Month. She has been at Brandywine, worked there for 5 years, and was nominated by several of the staff members there. I just want to read a few testimonials of her amazing work at Brandywine. Several of the nominations noted her attribute of our leader profile in building relationships, and specifically say, Joyce comes to work every day with a positive attitude. She builds relationships with the teachers on her hallway and is always going the extra mile to ensure the rooms are clean and all of the bathrooms as well. She prides herself on having the best rooms in the school. I wouldn't want anyone else cleaning our rooms and seeing her smile every day. Additionally, they talk about leads with intentionality, and specifically one of the comments says, Joyce is the custodian for my hallway, and she goes above and beyond every single day. She ensures our hallway, classroom, bathrooms are clean and sparkling, and does this all with compassion, composure, and grace. She is tremendously helpful and is always willing to lend a hand. She is such a bright light here at Brandywine. Another staff member says, Joyce is just a pure joy to be around. She's kind, lends a helping hand to everyone she encounters, keeps our rooms neat, clean, and tidy. We are so lucky to have her on the custodial team at Brandywine Elementary. So please join me in celebrating Joyce Elenise, our Employee of the Month, and our board members are going to come down. And we have a little gift for you. So if you want to come over this one, and they'll line up here to, yeah.
Hey, you want to take a mic over there?
Absolutely.
Will it work over there?
That sounds amazing. Thank you.
Congratulations. Congratulations. Thank you. Thanks for
So congratulations to Joyce. And our final recognition tonight is certainly very, very special. It is my distinct honor this evening to recognize 3 remarkable board members whose service to our district has left an indelible mark. As they attend their final Board of Education meeting, we want to take this opportunity to express our deepest gratitude for their unwavering commitment and dedication to our schools, our staff, and our students. Tom Cleveland, Darla Light, and Lindsay Adams, your collective leadership, vision, and countless hours of service have shaped our district in profound ways. You have been steadfast advocates for education, champions for our students, and pillars of support for our teachers and leaders. Specifically want to note that Lindsay Adams has served on the Board of Education for 3 years from 2021 through 2024. Darla Light, thank you for 15 years of service, serving from 2009 through 2024. And last but not least, Tom Cleveland, standing in front of us tonight with 19 years of service to this Board of Education from 2005 through 2024. As you all transition from this role, please know your legacy of excellence and service will continue to inspire all of us for years to come. On behalf of Forsyth County Schools, thank you for your dedication to creating a brighter future for every student in our community. We wish you the best in your future endeavors and have a token of our appreciation over there towards Susie. So thank you very much.
while we're down here, can we go ahead and get some pictures with our?
Absolutely. So our students that presented tonight from Brandywine, if you want to make your way over here by me, come right over here and you'll go down the line. So come on over, guys. Oh, a picture too? You want to shake?
Yeah, we gotta do the handshake and then we gotta do the
Handshake
picture or
first,
both,
and
and
then
then you gotta get in the picture with us too.
Okay, so we're going right down the
You
line,
too,
guys.
principal.
It's Brandywine night. It's Brandywine night. The school board, that's awesome. Great job. That is a great job they're doing.
Great job, great job. Everybody. That's really important.
All right, friends, you'll look first. Parents get first dibs, so moms and dads, go ahead, get them started. Hold it up, go ahead.
Yeah, we get in here, guys.
She's not shy.
No, get up, no program. Get in here, man.
I love it. Yes.
Do you want to come get your picture, Matt?
We're gonna take a picture.
I think you're ready.
With your buddy?
Oh, Lisa.
There you go, right there.
All right, here we go, everybody.
All right.
He knows.
The best dressed guy in the whole building.
Yeah.
He's making us look bad over
He's
here.
sharp.
Parents first. All right, friends, and then right here. Hi, good job. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Hi. Awesome job.
Can I go ahead and just add a couple more comments to the,
Okay.
so, yeah, so I think probably by the end of this month, that will be all the way up to 16, 4, and 20 years, yeah.
Right.
It's a lot of years' experience out there. I shared what I'm about to share with you all. The other night, we had a little gathering, but, you know, for our district staff, you guys have just meant so much. Your leadership's meant so much. The faith you've put in us has meant, you know, so much. And, you know, there's so many things we could say about each of them, but we sort of all gathered around and talked about some things we would say. I think, Tom, when it comes to you, and I know you've heard this a lot of times, but we want to get this officially on the record now as we say it. But Tom has been a forward thinker for a very, very long time. When he was a parent involved in our school system, way before he was a board member, a lot of ideas, a lot of things that he kept pushing for that people just scratched their heads and thought this guy's crazy. What is he talking about? And they maybe a few of them still think that, but all those things he talked about years and years later all came to fruition. And there's so many of them. I think Alliance Academy probably goes in that list of things. It's a part of your legacy, Tom, amongst a lot of other things. He always out of the box thinking. And Tom never, ever wavers from focusing on what is the best thing to do for kids. And we heard that over and over the other night. Lindsay came onto this board 4 years ago. About the same time I came up to this office, so we kind of came up together, grew up together these last 4 years in our leadership roles. But one thing that Lindsay brought that is just so important to this board is that perspective of a mom. She's got the heart of a mom because she's got 4 kids in our system at a variety of ages, and never let us waver from that most important perspective, which is the perspective of the parent. She was a voracious learner and had tons of great questions all the time. And really, when I look back, Lindsay, your time here, you have been a champion not only for our kids but for our teachers at every turn, and we appreciate you. And then the godmother over here, Darla has been born and raised in this community. 16 years on the board, but she was leading things long before she had that title, and my gut feeling is she'll be leading them long after she leaves this board. Her strength of character always keeps this governance team and in previous governance teams, on task and on focus. Is passions get away from us, and the latest thing comes down the pike, maybe that people want to. She was always the one that calmed the storm with common sense, helped us keep our focus, and provided that insider's perspective as someone who's lived here in this community and been a part of this community for her entire life. So we are just so blessed. I think one of the things that you think about when you've led somewhere a long time is your legacy. We could talk about all the construction projects and buildings and all the changes that have taken place. But as I shared at dinner the other night, when you think about the people that work in this building, and more importantly tonight, when you think about the students that have come through here under your leadership, that's your legacy. And just to throw some numbers at you real quick, Lindsay Adams has been here 4 years. That's equivalent to 16,022 graduates that you helped lead across that stage. Darla Lights, 16 years, 46,550 students have graduated. And Tom Cleveland, that number is, for over 20 years, 51,759 graduates.
I've seen every one of them all.
And you've been there forever, yeah. So my point is, when you think about those kinds of numbers, board members don't get the benefit that our teachers have and principals have of being on the ground with the kids every day. But your impact and your influence over the course of your years of service is immeasurable. And so please know that's your legacy, and you've got an unbelievable legacy for the rest of us now to live up to on the board and on our governance team, and we're going to do our best to live up to that. But thank you, guys. I turn it back over to you.
Thank you. Okay, we'll take a short recess now, and if you want to slip out before we start the business portion, you're welcome to do that. And if you want to stay and listen to the business portion, you're welcome to do that too. Thank you all for coming. Next, we have the consent agenda. Has everybody had a chance to get questions answered? Do I have a motion to approve? Motion by Mike, second by Wes. All in favor? Unanimous. Okay, now we have presentation and discussion items. First, the communications update with Dr. Michelle Dugan.
Still thinking about our sweet friends. What a great presentation. And nobody wants to follow that. Let's see here. All right. Well, good evening, you all. I'm so excited to be here and share a little bit more about the communications department. We do have some exciting updates for you, and we do have some teammates who joined us here tonight as well. So before we get started, just wanted to share in some information about how all of this work aligns with, of course, the district's strategic plan along with the governance goals. I've been fortunate to serve in multiple opportunities, departments at the district level. And when you really think about communications, it is the area that, to me, touches all parts of our district strategic plan as well as our governance goals. And we'll talk through that a little bit today. So I wanted to introduce you to some members of our team. I have been in this role for 154 days. Proud to still be here, thank you. But also wanted to introduce you to a new member of our team who is here tonight and who was actually just out in the hallway taking pictures of our awesome students to make sure we represent them. So Meg Bagno is right here. She joined our team as the communications coordinator. And so her role is to really lead, support us telling our story, whether it's social media, helping us in graphic design, and then also touching base with our schools to uplift, to offer training, to support our leaders and all of those who touch any part of our storytelling throughout the district. Jonathan Bice is also on our team. He's one of our webmasters. He also works in graphic design. Robin Gravett is our communications assistant. Something I do want folks to know, and if any students are watching, the live chat on our website is a real person, and this is her. Her name is Robin Gravett. And to the few of you who have been asking her to prom recently, I say she's a real lady in our office. She does a fantastic job, and she's so responsive and helpful to our families. Many organizations are moving toward AI for response, and we do certainly look to explore taking advantage of that at some point. But for right now, that personal touch, the fact that Robin can pick up the phone and call and say, I know your child's at this school, and here's how I'm going to help you, is something that we're very dedicated to in our office. And then more recently, Glenn Whittington joined our team. He has decades of experience in video and graphic design, and so he does all of our videos, including one you will see today. When I moved into this position, I really thought a lot about what communications meant to me, not only as an employee of the school system, but also as a parent and as a community member. And so one of the things that I wanted to do is focus our vision of a communications department and threefold. Our purpose is to inform, to advance, and to amplify. So you may recognize some leader profile icons on this pyramid, and yes, I see you smiling, I had to make it cute. But that leader profile drives the work that we are expected to do as leaders in the district. So our job is to inform. We're building relationships, we are communicating effectively with all stakeholders, students, parents, community members, and so on. We are advancing the Forsyth County Schools vision, mission, and strategic plan, and we are amplifying the voices on a local and national stage. Just recently, we had the opportunity to host an event that was broadcast around the world. We hosted Lynn Swan for the NFL Hall of Famer event at Denmark High School, and that was an incredibly electric opportunity for our student athletes to ask questions of a professional athlete and have their voices be broadcast throughout the world. And none of this happens in isolation. This all happens with a fantastic team, including the other departments here at the district office. And then we wanted to be also very intentional. So coming in, like anybody, I wanted to have a plan. And what happens to plans? Sometimes they change. So when I moved into this position, we were able to accomplish nearly everything that we had hoped to accomplish as a team, but we did see some opportunity for realignment and growth, specifically regarding the feedback we got from families on how and when and how often they are receiving communication from our schools. And so in collaboration with other departments, we've made some pretty big strides to move those forward. I do want to highlight one of the most important things we probably did very early on, so July, maybe early August, is we focused on that safety piece in the first 30 days because that is always a focus in Forsyth County Schools. For me, it was my immediate priority. When we looked at that, I connected with the sheriff's office and we learned that our public information officers, our PIOs, had not come together in a long time to be able to develop relationships, know one another, and then be ready to adjust if a crisis does occur. And so early on, we met with the public information officers from the sheriff's office, from Cumming PD, from emergency management systems, and also fire. And that relationship has continued to grow and evolve. We continue to meet, and that's something that we hope is going to just elevate our ability to connect with all of the resources, but also to support our community members as well. I've also been very fortunate to head out to many stakeholder engagement events. And so I did go on the Mr. Young tour of all of our schools and programs as he met with PTOs, LSCs, and our staffs. One of the most exciting things about that is I listened through a district lens, but also a communications lens. And I was looking in all of those opportunities to just see what can we do to better engage our families and our students and our stakeholders. And so from each of those, whether it was an advisory council or a PTO meeting, I was able to take back and draw all kinds of correlations across and throughout the district. This is work that we have brought together a team, and we are looking at the data now together, and for 2025, we have a new plan for implementation to adjust. One of the best things a leader can do is to follow through on what they say and also follow up. So I've already reached out to a few families to let them know our plans going forward and that their voices did truly matter, and we've made adjustments accordingly. Another new exciting website update. So we are moving from Blackboard as our website host to Finalsite. You may know that Finalsite is the new provider for all former Blackboard users. And so our new website is really going to be focused on user experience. It should be easier to navigate for our families. When you land on the main page, you will see what we value, are safe, connected, and thriving. You will see information for current families, future families, as well as people who want to join our team. There's a lot more interactivity. One of my favorite features is on the calendar. So our calendar on the new website will allow families the ability to click and filter if they just want to see a particular type of event. So for example, if they go to the school district website and they just want to see major board meeting events, they can click the board meeting filter and it takes all other pieces away. If they just want to see major athletic activities once the school sites roll out, they can click, they have a filter for athletic activities. We think some of that will help with our communication with our families, but we are excited to launch this over the winter break, so that's very soon. Our school sites will be launching in the spring. One of the great things that we are proud of is all of our ETCs will be leading a lot of this work at the school level, but all of our district departments have somebody who is a point person to ensure smooth transition and that everybody has the information they need while we cross over. We did recently send out, and this is one of my favorite traditions in Forsyth County Schools, is we send out a card every year, either as a department or as a school. And if you've ever received the school cards, they're precious, right? They are highlighting the stories of our kids, of our staff. And so the one we sent out this year had a note about helping us tell our story because we are so appreciative. The webmasters may or may not be ETCs at the school level. And the people who manage social media could be administrators, they may be excellent teacher leaders, or they could be just people who have a passion for communications. So they are doing this work not as an official title, but it's something they're passionate about in helping us tell our story. And we know that if we don't tell our story, somebody else will tell it for us. So we want to be the ones who share the great works that our staff and our students are doing each day. And that being said, we are excited to share that in 2025, we're kicking off a storytelling spotlight, where we will honor and recognize the students, the schools, the staff who are going above and beyond in communicating with families. Just one more opportunity to recognize the great work that is being done. And I'm going to pitch to Meg that maybe our first one is at Brandywine, based on the great story that they just shared. And finally, this is something that came into play before I moved into this role. There was a great conversation between Mr. Young, Mr. Hershey, and several cabinet members about highlighting our alumni. What happens when our students leave Forsyth County Schools? More recently, we had a conversation about what would be the best way to spotlight alumni of Forsyth County Schools, and we decided as a team to focus it on the learner profile. So the attributes of the learner profile are listed there. Pursue continuous learning, exhibiting strong personal qualities, utilizing creative and critical thinking, engage and contribute, and interacting effectively. And I felt like it was very appropriate that our first alumni spotlight video I share with you is of a Forsyth County Schools graduate who is now a Forsyth County Schools teacher. So I'm going to share that video with you now.
Okay, so I'm Hope Cleveland. I teach here at Silver City Elementary. I'm teaching second grade. So I graduated from West Forsyth High School in 2010. I had lots of...
And let me pause that just so I can get you a full screen view. There you go.
Fun memories and amazing teachers. It was really hard to think and pinpoint just one. Honestly, I had so many that it's hard to highlight any specifically, but just the memories from school and my time in Forsyth County Schools just bring so much joy. It's kind of brought me to a lot of friendships that I still have today and taught me a lot about myself and building relationships and connections, memories that highlight chorus concerts and fun field trips and fun class projects, things like that. My journey's taken me after graduation. I went to UNG in Dahlonega, where I got a degree in early childhood education with a degree also in special education. I also, after that, came to work in Forsyth County Schools, and I actually just wrapped up getting my master's degree last month. Yes, and that's in early childhood ed also. So the curiosity that was sparked from a lot of my teachers in Forsyth County Schools is super valuable to me even to this day. I had a lot of teachers, especially towards high school, in those upper grades, that really challenged me to learn about myself, my interests, learn about what I liked and how I felt about certain things through self-discovery. And that was by giving me a lot of information and tools, and then me choosing how I was going to navigate certain situations, even if they were challenging. So it really sparked my curiosity by having me think for myself and develop those interests in order to help me grow as a professional and personally, honestly. I would say any advice I would give current students right now about building interpersonal skills is the number one thing is to be an active listener. It's very easy to hear other people and hear what people are saying to you, but to actually choose to listen, to understand, and not to respond. That would be my number one advice, is just actively listen when somebody's talking to you. The second thing would be how to properly handle conflict resolution. I think that that's something that a lot of people do struggle with. I personally have struggled with it in the past, and that's something that is a developing thing that students need to learn to do in order to succeed in life. So first understanding how they feel about something, and then knowing what to do with those feelings and to properly communicate those things in a healthy way to be able to resolve conflict that they have. So I think both of those things are huge in building interpersonal skills with peers and even adults. What I would tell students about setting and pursuing their goals is to really challenge themselves to figure out what they're interested in, what they like, where they feel like their strengths are. I always tell my students, every single student has a strength. Every single person has a strength. There is something that you are good at, and it usually does have something to do with what you're interested in. And even if it's not something that is the most popular thing or the thing that everybody's good at, finding that thing in yourself is a huge part of setting a goal for yourself. During my time in Forsyth County Schools, I feel like I've learned how to network and make connections. One of the best ways that I can think of that I drew a connection to Forsyth County was immediately after graduation. I was applying for schools in Forsyth County. I really wanted to teach here. And I reached out to my old former principal that was my elementary school teacher growing up, where I went to Cumming Elementary. She was the principal at a different elementary school now, but she had remembered me. And so we had laughed and made all these connections, reminisced on some old times, and it was just such a wholesome moment for me to be able to reconnect with her. It was a full circle moment, so I was able to go from being an elementary school student, looking up to her, and then getting to learn from her later in life in my very first career, my first school. So it was a really awesome connection there. So as a last and final remark, I feel very proud to have attended all Forsyth County schools. It's very special and near and dear to my heart. I did choose to come back to the county that helped raise me so that I could pour into what Forsyth County has poured into me. Not only did I choose to teach in this county, but I decided to raise my family here because it is such a beautiful place that has inspired so many people and so many students. Again, it feels like such a family feel. I've always felt supported and encouraged and challenged in this county, and I am very proud to call it my home and where I work.
You know, you're making me feel old.
Because you know who she is.
She grew up with my sons. She came up to me during NEO and said, "Do you remember me?" And I said, "Yes, I do." And she said, well, I said, "What are you doing here?" She's starting her career, so it's amazing.
We're really proud of Miss Cleveland, who is an excellent teacher at Silver City Elementary, but also of all of our alumni. And so the opportunity to help tell their stories and also to show our students what is possible beyond the walls of our schools and beyond that graduation stage, all the graduations you've sat through, to think about the volume of graduates we've had over the years, including some people sitting on this board, is really special. And we do have something special here, and we look forward to telling that story. So I want to leave you with a quote. People who know me well know that I enjoy this quote. I think about it a lot in our work about the best prize that life has to offer is the opportunity to work hard at work worth doing. And education is certainly work worth doing. While I'm up here, I wanted to thank and just say a special thank you to our board members who are retiring, if you will, departing us, because all of you have been here throughout my journey. Lindsay, I will never forget one of my first FTA presentations when I was working in human resources. You were smiling at me so big in a way that just gave me so much comfort, and I've always appreciated that about you, but it speaks to your heart as a mother, as Mr. Young shared earlier, and also your educator heart and your support of our staff has always been appreciated. And Mr. Cleveland, I have known you a very long time, but also have had the privilege of working with your better half. And I just cannot thank you for your early innovative support of programs like Forsyth Teacher Academy, but everything else that you have brought to the table. And my sincerest thanks for the kids who are in school that I have now, my two little boys who have benefited from that, certainly. And Miss Light, Just wanted to say thank you too. I didn't bring up any old pictures, but I did go to school at the same time as one of Darla is her oldest son. And so I have run in and out of Darla's house as a child, and I do want to just share and recognize that she is one of the biggest cheerleaders for all children that I have ever met. I was an actual cheerleader myself on the basketball court while her son was playing, and she was yelling louder than our entire squad. But she champions people. She's a coach at heart, and I appreciate you, Darla, for all you've done. So thank you. All right, we are going into 2025 feeling this way in our communications department, ready to kick off a brand new year in January and to tell our story with our community and engage and uplift all of our students and stakeholders. Thank you.
Great job.
Updates with Kathy Carpenter.
All right, I know everybody's really excited about student records in FERPA. After all of this exciting presentations, I'm feeling a little bit like not flashy enough for everybody.
Feels all the time. Follow all this.
But every year at this time, we go through and evaluate our student records policy to see if we need to make any updates because, believe it or not, on January 13th, we're going to start 25-26 registration for kindergartners. So as we're just settling into this school year, my department's getting ready for next school year. So when we looked at this policy, we saw just a few areas that we wanted to make mild adjustments. The first place is in our school official definition. We have listed that any person who has a contractual relationship with the school district is considered a school official. Well, we've had a long-standing contractual relationship with Forsyth County Sheriff's Office, and we really wanted to make sure we specify that that relationship is really codified in our school environments through the school resource officers. So that's why we wanted to make sure we listed that particular group of people inside the policy formally. So that was our first update. Any questions about that? All right, if you scroll down to the second page, this is bulleted list is our directory information list. And when my department and I looked at the third bullet item, it said student's phone number. Well, as a kindergartner, we would think, okay, that means your mom or dad. But then if you think about a high school student's phone number is their cell phone number, like the cell phone number we call kids on. So we really felt like we needed to be a little bit more explicit on that bullet item and say it's the student's parents' phone number as opposed to just the kid's phone number. Just in case somebody read it and didn't have that background knowledge of landlines like we used to, we wanted to make sure we made that clear. Any questions about that one? All right. And then the last item is actually on the last page of it. We realized we missed a apostrophe S on a possessive. So we felt like as educators, we needed to get that right. So those are all the changes that I have on policy JR. Are there any questions?
No questions?
All right.
Okay,
Awesome.
so
Thank you so
it'll
much.
Sit for 30
Sit out
days,
there.
right? Okay. Thank you. Okay, and next we have the finance report with Mr. Larry Hamill.
That's for last, right?
You're exactly right because Dr. Bartlett follows you tonight.
Well, you know,
He said it.
I would give her the benefit of the doubt. Microaggression. All right. We're here for the November 2024 financial statements. As always, we keep the goal 3 in mind when we talk about financial statements. We started the month off with $114 million. Like I said, we had a big drop this month in the property tax. $269 million came in. It exceeded what we were projecting for this month by several $1 million. We're in the next slide, I'll show you what we had percentage-wise for that. We ended the month with about $356 million. This time last year, we had about 319. Right now, we're at 66% of collections.
we're at 66.72, so we're a little bit behind. We're at 95.4% for ad valorem. We're at 95.13, so we're a little bit ahead of schedule there, not by a lot. But the good thing is the intangible tax, real estate tax, and title ad valorem tax are coming a little bit better than they were last year. On the expense side, we're at 42.78% spend rate versus the 41.17, so we're about 1.6 percent points ahead of schedule. A lot of that has to do with timing this time of the year. On the debt service cash analysis, we are showing about $29.6 million in cash between the debt service account and an LGIP account, and this time last year we had 38.2. Remember back in 2023, we reserved out some money for general fund, and we'll start using some of that money next year going forward. SPLOST 5 is down to the last $419 in LGIP fund, and a little bit over $12 million in the regular fund, something like that. So we're getting close to the end of SPLOST 5. It'll probably be done by June of this year of 25. SPLOST 6 is at $32 million, and we had about 54 last year. We've had a lot of expenditures because we finished up the schools, and we're doing a lot of the step 2 or step 3 projects that were planned in there. Special revenue funds are exactly where they need to be for this time of the year, and nothing big on that. On the capital projects fund, we got about $21 million in there. We had about 14 last year. School food mysteriously still stays around that $20 million number. They actually brought more money in they spent this month. So they're at $20 million versus 19.7 last year. On the investment summary, we had $191 million. I did make the comment that the amount of cash coming in was a little bit late this compared to last time. This time last year, we were about $199 million, so we're a little bit behind schedule on that in terms of investment money. The Fund 200, we only got 20,000 in there. We had 32 million last year. We just did a drop last week, moving most of the debt service money into LGIP to get as much interest as we could. SPLOST 6 had about 10 million last year. We're about to 16 million. I'm sure we're probably a couple more million in there since we have such a big balance. SPLOST 5 is down to about $419 versus 22 million last year. And the SPLOST 6 is about 32.3 versus 54. In total, we only got about $240 million, which a majority of it is Fund 100 versus about 319 last year. On the collections, so it's been interesting to watch the collections because if you look at the change in column percent change after increase in the first increase and decrease column, you'll notice that it's been kind of erratic. Back in June, we were at 4% month over month. We dropped down to 2.2, back up to 4, dropped down to 3, dropped down to 5, and back up to 4.92. Now, year over year, we're kind of ahead schedule, but we've had these weird, every couple months, we have a big dip compared to that. Right now, if we look at our collection rate, we're still going to collect about 6 months in advance of when SPLOST is supposed to end. But as we collect less and less money compared to what we're predicting, that percentage starts to decrease, and it looks like we might skip into another 3-month period down the road. Just depends on how that stuff looks. So I'll keep you updated on that. So we'll know more probably March of next year in terms of where we stand with that. Elementary schools, we had about the same amount of money last year, $4.9 million. The middle schools, we had about 2.39, almost the exact same thing. In high schools, we had a 6.3. The percentages didn't change by much. They went up by 1 for high school and down 1 for middle schools. And that's the financial statements for November 2024. Any questions?
Any questions? Okay, thank you.
Now the best for last.
Now the best for last. Teaching and learning update.
Okay, well, I'm here as a follow-up to the November presentation the compelling presentation by our high school principals, Dr. Archambault and Ms. Thrower, on behalf of the whole group regarding high school course credit recommendations. So as a reminder, this does align with our strategic plan of increasing growth and achievement, and certainly the social emotional health area, which is promoting respect, wellness, and balance for our staff and our students, and aligns with board governance goal number 2, which is aligning our strategies, initiatives, and resources to our learner profile. So the beginning of this, you're really not going to see any changes to the actual recommendation. It's more in the cohorts that we would be implementing this with. So as a summary, in terms of how this does apply to middle schools who want to take those high school course for credit recommendations, no high school courses will be awarded to middle school students taking self-pay high school courses outside of the school day. So those that take it inside of the school day will continue to be acknowledged. And then rising ninth grade students may earn up to 1 full credit for self-pay courses during the summer after 8th grade. For those middle schoolers, it's important to note that that credit would go on the transcript but not be factored into the overall GPA, and that's always been the case.
And Dr. Bauer, that usually happens. I think it's safe to say that going into ninth grade, we see that happen a lot with fine arts students, career tech students who are wanting to be able to do marching band and follow their career tech. So quite often they'll take a course that's required to just try to get jump started so they can make room in their schedule. Is that still what we're talking about?
Exactly, right. A lot of times we see a personal fitness class, a fine arts class, things like that.
And that's how it is now.
It's how it is now,
Okay.
yes. That's exactly right, yes. At the high school level, and again here, our students in grade 9 through 12 will have the ability to still earn up to 1 credit for self-pay online courses taken by GAVs or FVA only outside of the regular school schedule per semester to be added to the transcript and factored into the overall GPA. So again, that's 1 additional credit per semester, fall, spring, and summer, and it would be factored into the high school GPA. Also, well, the summer is the second part of that. The change here on the update, based on the feedback from the board, which our high school principals appreciated and went back and quickly came to consensus on, is that we would not just do it for rising freshmen, but we would also include rising sophomores. So basically, those lower classmen, if you will, at high school, 9th and 10th graders, this would apply to starting in the 25-26 school year, and then the upperclassmen, our juniors and seniors, will be continued on the path that they've already set. So you see the implementation timeline there, that it would apply to graduation cohort 2028, rising sophomores, and 2029. So anything after the cohort of 2028, this would apply to.
And Dr. Barlow, just a point of clarification.
Please.
Parents and students can take classes from anywhere they want at any time. We're talking about what goes on our transcript.
Correct.
So if parents choose to take online classes or allow their kids because they want to extend their learning,
Yes.
they're welcome to do that. We're just saying that what goes on our transcript is now limited.
That is correct. They're welcome to take as many as they'd like, absolutely. We want to especially note that how this impacts dual enrollment courses that are funded through Georgia Futures, and that's up to 30 hours, will still be added to the student transcript and factored into the GPA. So this does not impact those dual enrollment classes up to 30 hours that are funded through Georgia Futures. However, self-pay dual enrollment courses will be added to the transcript, but not into the GPA if they're self-pay dual enrollment. And again, you'll see the same cohort implementation. This is all for cohort graduation 2028 and after. Okay? So to summarize, there is a nice one-pager there that I'll click to in a minute. Also, that's on a nice one sheet for schools to be able to communicate to stakeholders. And we want to make sure that we're clear on our next step. So obviously, this presentation was given originally November 19th by our high school principals. The feedback did include we'd like to expand the implementation, and our recommendation now is to support that for cohorts 2028 and 2029, which are our rising 9th and 10th graders. We also left that meeting going back to the admissions offices courses at both the University of Georgia and Georgia Tech to tell them what our plan was and make sure there weren't any adverse consequences for our students being accepted into those universities. We did hear affirmation from both of those universities. They both wrote us back and said that they are thrilled with our plan and are very excited to see that this will benefit our students in Forsyth County. So we did have affirmation with these shifts with both universities. This is obviously the month of December. We have provided updates to our principals at both the middle and high school level. Our counselors, our schedulers, and all system departments have also been made aware of these recommendations. And we've been busy making adjustments to our regulations so that that verbiage does reflect the changes. From this point forward, with your stamp of approval, we'll be moving forward in January to directly start communicating this with our students and parents at local schools. A lot of the rising nights are coming up, believe it or not, as Ms. Carpenter mentioned about enrollment. We're already talking about course registration into the high school and the middle school. So this will be able to be part of those presentations for our students and for their parents. We have a nice one-pager that will be going out and, just really synthesizing this information in a very clear way, as well as a detailed view. So it's very clear on what they can and can't do. And as all of our schools offer nights that are very specific to cohort levels, this will be very explicitly shared with our parents and our community and our students to ensure that that is a solid understanding across the district. So that's where we stand now with our recommendations, and just wanted to bring that back to you with our next steps forward in changing our regulations and then moving forward with that pivotal time of January, sharing this with our stakeholders. Any questions?
Did you hear from anybody after the presentation last month?
In such a positive way. Honestly, we have heard in our office just thank yous, and interestingly, several parents saying, I wish my children would have had this going through, and that they really feel it's going to benefit the overall wellness and mental health of our students. So the feedback that came to the teaching and learning department was by far all positive. So good. Feel really great. And interestingly, one little caveat, we had an interview from outside the system. Mr. Hirsch is not in there, but they recognized one of our principals and said, I think I saw you at this presentation. We're just really, interested in what we had to say and where this came from and how much of a need this is. And then they were an out-of-state candidate that had really, just affirmed our work here. So that was interesting. So.
Good.
Yes.
It's nice to see your work supported and where it came from.
Yes.
How it came from grassroots to make this change, and it's really been a collaboration that y'all have done well.
Yes. Great. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, now we have one action item. The 26-27 student calendar.
All right, good evening. Thank you. Good evening. Appreciate that. I would like to show you all the final draft. This is what was presented to you in November, and you may notice that the only thing that's on it, we did work with Dr. Bartlett and TNL to get our open house for middle school and elementary added on the 3rd and the 4th of August that year, but it did not impact any of the days anywhere. So I would like to submit this to you for consideration and take any questions.
Good job. Any questions, anybody?
No? All right, well, then
good.
I recommend for approval the calendar for 26-27 that the cat-like Josh Lowe presented for us here tonight. Well done.
I want you to know that that was a quick presentation, cat-like.
Cat-like.
And welcome to the conversation.
Thank you. I would like to appreciate the humor and the approval. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you, Dr. Lowe. I think you've made the calendar great again. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate you acknowledging that, sir.
Do I have a motion to approve?
Second.
A motion by Mike and a second by Wes. All in favor? Unanimous. Okay, points of information. Do you have anything? you would like to point out?
I believe I've exceeded my time to speak tonight.
I'm giving you extra right here.
Let me just ask, do you from time to time grant people extra time?
I do.
I won't use it tonight. I'll yield mine back to others. Thank you, though.
Okay, next, I don't think we need.
Darla, I would just like to say thank you to you and Tom. So it's an honor to be stepping down between the two of you. So thanks for what you've contributed over the years. You've done a really good job.
It's been fun.
That's all I wanted to say.
Okay, next we have public participation on non-agenda items, and we have Jerick Rochelle, and it's Christmas, and it's my very last thing, and I'm just going to grant you all the time you want.
All the time I want? Okay.
Up to 5 minutes.
I'll take 5 minutes. Yeah, with 5 minutes, let me say, I mean, so me and my family, we came here as refugees from the People's Republic of California in 2020, and I'll tell you, I really was I don't know, it was such a relief to come into a place where it was just a completely different vibe. I mean, I was born and raised in Hawaii, and it's wet there, right? And there's green. And all of a sudden, I'm driving along these roads, and it's wet, and it's green, and I can see like clouds. I felt like my soul came back to me. And the Forsyth County School Board, you guys have done great over these past, I don't know, probably 34 times that I've come up here and said my piece. But no, seriously, thank you so much. And I owe each of your families a dinner on me sometime, somewhere. So even if you don't disagree with me, or okay, so now the downer part. Okay, my wife and daughter have recently expressed some frustration to me about some of the side effects of the PBIS efforts in my daughter's elementary school. Most recently, there have been a number of occasions when her school was put under medical lockdown to deal with a misbehaving child, including one where my daughter was stuck in the bathroom while it was resolved. Now, putting aside the appropriateness of using medical lockdown to address behavior problems, I think there's a larger concern here for how the well-behaved kids are kind of affected by our PBIS implementations. PBIS promises to be evidence-driven and recommends that we focus on, positive incentives rather than what might be considered negative consequences. And it provides as evidence self-reported surveys and a promised reduction in office referrals and disciplinary punishments. These are certainly worthwhile goals, and we want our children and teachers to feel good about their school climate. And of course, we want to give support to children who have behavior problems. Unfortunately, you only get what you measure, and we seem to have lost track of the reason of why we want better behavior. The point of better behavior isn't just to help the person who is struggling with self-control or moral reasoning. The point is to create an environment where all the other people aren't being negatively affected by bad behavior. And maybe we don't measure that. Do we have metrics about how often 25 children in a classroom are disrupted for 5 minutes or more because of a misbehaving child, or a count of how much time the entire school is locked down, when it's disrupted with a medical lockdown for one bad behaving child? And, or can we even track the number of times that staff have to find non-traditional accommodations for teaching because otherwise available rooms are reserved for children unable to control themselves appropriately? I mean, without those metrics, we can create a system where we may be doing a great job in improving the self-control of a small number of children who really need help, but we're damaging all the children who already have proper self-control and behavior. And of course, there is a balance. The support of children in dire need inevitably requires that we sacrifice some of the academic performance and potential of children who don't have such needs. My older daughter, in particular, required a lot of attention in elementary school back in California with IEPs, behavior charts, and a lot of resources dedicated to her. And she's flourishing as an adult now. And it's possible that my younger daughters, my well-behaved younger daughter's experience now of frequent disruptions to her learning are sort of a karmic balance somehow in repayment for the ultimate outcome of her older sister. But I do believe we can do better. And we can start by collecting metrics that reflect the impact to well-behaved students and staff so that we can improve outcomes for everyone in our schools. I humbly ask the board to require all of our schools implementing PBIS to identify and track objective metrics regarding disruptions for well-behaved children by poorly behaving children. We can work towards strategies to quantitatively reduce these disruptions after we have the data, but I fear that without getting that embedded into the process, we're actually doing more harm than good. And so on that note, thank you very much for your time, your service. I love you all. And I would love to take anybody who disagrees with me out to lunch. Thank you.
Thank you.
Actually, Todd Shirley is going to set up a time to go to lunch with you, and you guys are going to talk through PBIS to make sure we get everything accurate.
And today's his birthday.
Not tonight, though.
Okay, with that, we're finished. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Some second.
You want to do it?
I'm out of here.
Motion by Lindsay and a second by Tom, all in favor, unanimous.